talking to this girl named April, who's a vegetarian. Just stupid. She was like, animals have feelings too. I was like, yeah, they also have great taste, so until that changes. She was like, yeah, have you ever even eaten a salad? I was like, yeah, but it's inside a hamburger. That's where that belongs. I didn't surprise her though. I actually did a 6-month vegetarian diet. Just dead silence, that's the correct response. It was great. I did, for 6 months straight, I ate nothing but vegetarians. Which have more meat in them than I thought they would.
I don't eat meat, which I only talk about because otherwise the next couple of jokes don't make sense. I'm not preachy about it. I'm not going to give you pamphlets after the show. Don't worry about it. You guys are adults. Live your lives. But I was at a barbecue over the summer at a friend's house, and before they fired up the grill, they're like, hey, if anybody would like one, we have some veggie burgers and veggie dogs in the freezer. We'd be happy to put one on for you. Before I could say anything, this drunk lady calls out. She's like, no! I don't care if you don't eat meat. You don't get to eat something that's shaped like meat. And I'm like, well, that's a very strong opinion about what other people eat, but also, lady, I don't know what shape you think meat is, but it's not a cylinder. That's not how that comes normally. I'm not a pushy vegetarian. Don't worry about it. Like, for example, my wife and kids eat meat. Well, not the baby, because she doesn't have all her teeth yet. It'd be weird if she was gumming down on a steak, but my wife and older daughter eat meat. But just to make things easier, we usually don't have it in the house. So we have like these fake chicken nuggets that we make for my daughter sometimes. But we went out to dinner with my in-laws one night, and they got her regular chicken nuggets. And we told her, and we're like, oh, sweetie, there's a regular chicken nugget, not like we have at home. She's like, so this used to be a chicken? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm thinking, look, that kid loves animals. This is where she comes over to daddy's side. She's like, somebody killed it and turned it into a nugget and battered and fried it? And I'm like, yup. And she, without breaking eye contact with me, just goes, awesome. And puts the whole thing in her mouth. Yeah.
It's all good, though. Good times in the Miller house. Me and my wife, we agree on all the big important stuff. Except for one thing, and it's kind of a big one. My wife does not eat meat because she feels bad about killing the little baby animals. Are vegetarians here? That's twice as many as we have in the Midwest. In the Midwest, a vegetarian's like somebody who takes the bacon off the cheeseburger, you know? 2 animals per sandwich, minimum, Minnesota. State law. Now, I'm with you guys. I'm not a vegetarian, but it causes some friction with my lady sometimes, you know, especially when we go out to dinner. But it gave me a great idea. I'm gonna open up a vegetarian compromise restaurant. We're still gonna serve meat, but only the parts the animals can afford to live without. Then out back, we'll have the world's saddest petting zoo. Me and my wife have an agreement. I can still cook meat in the house, but we have to do all of our grocery shopping at the hippie co-op grocery store. Oh, so expensive at that place. But like, you go to buy a jar of olives, it's like $8. But the whole reason it's $8 is there's a little sticker on the label that says like, no Malaysian children were harmed in the making of these olives. Which is great. But $8? But it's either that, you go down to the regular grocery store, you get the $2 sad Malaysian kid olives. You feel like a jerk all day long. Meet me in the middle, co-op. What about like $5 olives, and the Malaysian kids just kind of hate their jobs like the rest of us?
If vegetarians can only eat vegetables, couldn't they eat meat if the cow was brain dead? Got a couple ranchers in the corner. That's a good idea right there. What 100% vegetarian beef!
It's amazing what you do for somebody when you first meet them, though, right? When you're in that wooing stage, like, you'll do stuff you wouldn't typically do to impress them. That's just human nature. Like, my ex-girlfriend was a vegetarian. When I met her, I stopped eating meat. And I'm not proud of that. I'm just saying, like, I know I did it for her, because as soon as she dumped me, I couldn't get to Wendy's fast enough. I was like, yeah, give me 5 Baconators. Trying to cover up this heartache with some angina. I didn't even eat them all. Just went home, got naked, rubbed the patties on my chest. Just waxing on and off like a heartbroken karate kid.
I'm gonna tell you a little something surprising about me. I'm a vegetarian, and sometimes people get immediately offended by just my mentioning how I've chosen to live my life. I was doing a series of casino shows in Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and that is big hunter country. Those hunters hunt with crossbows. They do not mess around. And all I said was, I'm a vegetarian, and there was a guy at the back of the showroom, was about 500 yards from me, big casino showroom, a guy 500 yards away from me, and he was 360 pounds if he was an ounce. All in camouflage, which clearly wasn't working. And all I said was, I'm a vegetarian, and he goes, oh, he shouts from the back of the room, oh yeah? What's your belt made out of? Now, normally, I don't wear a belt, because if I want to keep my pants up, I use food. Tonight I'm wearing a belt, but that night I was not, and I showed him I'm not wearing a belt. And he goes, oh yeah, well what are your shoes made out of? And I showed him that, like, tonight I'm wearing canvas shoes. And a comedian with a survival instinct would have moved on. I do not appear to be that comedian. So instead of moving on, I thought, let me linger and see what happens. So I said to this guy, I said, but sir, I have to say, for a big, burly hunter dude, you seem awfully fascinated with my accessories. Yeah. I don't remember anything after that. But I woke up 3 days later in Indiana. There it is.
I'm trying to get healthier, though, as I get older. I'm trying to do it without exercising, because that's not any fun at all. It's terrible. So my first idea was I became a vegetarian. And when I became a vegetarian, I realized there's a whole bunch of different levels. There's some very serious vegetarians. They won't even use a utensil if it has ever touched meat. That seems like a very difficult way to live. I'm more laid back about it. Like if I go to a restaurant and I order a salad, no bacon bits, and the waiter forgets, brings me a hamburger. Seems bad to be wasteful, right? I'm a waste not want not vegetarian.
I'm a Ozark vegetarian. Yeah, I have a cookbook. I'm sure I can see by the interest. I have a cookbook I'll be selling after the show called the White Trash Vegan Cookbook. It is all chicken recipes. It's my first draft. It's my first draft. I'm still working on that.
I got a lot of vegetarian friends. I try to accommodate them. When they come over to my place, I have a 20-foot by 20-foot section of grass in the backyard. Every once in a while, one of them will eat fish and he feels so guilty. I go, what's the matter with you? Look at it this way. The fish is dead, he's brain dead, so technically he's a vegetable. And he yells at me, he goes, Larry, you say you love animals, but how come you eat them? That's why I eat them, I love them. And besides, remember that plane that crashed in the Andes? The survivors ate all the food on the plane, and when it was gone, they resorted to cannibalism. Hey, they loved humanity, but it was a way to survive. If I have to choose between starvation and munching on an ear, pass the ketchup. Every time I get on a plane now, I see all the passengers as a buffet. It's a freaky world. Oh, man, crazy, crazy.
By round of applause, is there any vegetarians in the audience with us tonight? Vegetarians? A couple of... Get her! Smoke them out! This is your intervention. We all... I guess I'll read my letter first. When you started eating kumquats, you changed. Good for you. My wife and you would get along very well. She's a vegetarian. See, it wasn't so bad. Do we have any other, by round of applause, vegetarians here? Are you here? You're just too weak to clap? Is that what's happening? Casey! Okay. I only had a cherry tomato today. I know. Does anyone have any nut butter with them? That would... Some ice chips would help. I don't... So is it going black for anyone else? I don't know if that... I'm seeing dragons. I don't know. People ask me when they find out my wife's a vegetarian, they go, Casey, are you a vegetarian? I go, well, I don't know why you say that for two reasons. One, I'm holding a coney dog. And two, if I'm a vegetarian, I'm doing it wrong. Look at me. How many carrots would I have to eat to maintain this mass? There's like bushels of carrots. Keep them coming. I'm not losing this. I bought a farm. Plant every acre with carrots. I'm keeping these curves. She would love me to be like you and be a vegetarian, join the dark side. And she's always pushing the ideas and pushing the foods. I come home the other night, she's like, hey, tonight for dinner, we're having tofu. I go, no, we're not. She goes, no, listen to me. Tofu's great because it takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it in. I go, okay, all right. Oh, hey, yeah, I get it now. Hey, mine must have been cooked in manure. I don't... And she hates that I eat fast food. And as a comedian, I have a lot of late nights. I live on the Treasure Coast of Florida, and we close shop early, kind of a retirement town. And like, for example, I called up the local movie theater and I said, hey, what time's the midnight movie? They said 8:30. So I had a gig, and sometimes it's like 2 in the morning till I get home. And I have like 2 choices in that town. I either have McDonald's or crack at that hour. And I'm not sure which one is the healthy option at this point. I had a gig the other night, I call it up, I'm like, hey, I'm almost home, I'm starving, I'm gonna stop and get a McDonald's. McDonald's? I can't believe you're still going there. The fat content's so high, we don't know where they get their beef, get me a sundae. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
She was, we had a lot in common. We liked a lot of the same things, except food was an issue, you know, because she was a vegan. Didn't even eat milk or cheese, and there's a lot of that going on. Especially here, I noticed on the menus in some of the restaurants. I guess there's a lot of vegetarians in here. Yeah. They're in here. They're just too weak to raise their arms. And they preach, too. I don't like to be, preached to. Best I can do is eat animals that are vegetarians myself. I just feel like if God didn't mean for us to eat animals, he wouldn't have made them out of beef, But you gotta eat right. You got to eat your vegetables. I like fresh vegetables, especially when they're wrapped in bacon and deep fried. I like that.
So I waited till the kids are secure, money is paid off, she's all right, the former wife. I said, it's time to start dating again, looking for a mate, the perfect mate. None of this internet stuff for me. I want reality. That's what I want. I want to meet somebody. See, the initial meeting is really everything, you know. So this is a party. I met this really nice lady, attractive, you know, bright. Just had a good spirit about her. And after a couple more times we met, and then I said, okay, this is something I think could happen. I invited her out to a very expensive restaurant. I'm showing off. We're sitting down, we're having our little appetizer, just a little chit-chat, and then all of a sudden she goes, okay, before we go any further, I have to ask you this question, and it's the most important question. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this isn't good. Those questions should wait till later, not right up front, you know what I mean? And I said, well, I'm an honest guy. I'll tell you whatever you need to know. And she looked at me and she said, okay, tell me this. What is your spirit animal? Now, us guys may not be smart about relationships, but we know crazy when we see it. And I'm thinking, I don't know what she's talking about. I said, well, forgive me. I said, but what is a spirit animal? She goes, every person inside of them has a spirit animal, a living, breathing animal, and it's just free and wild, and it's what you really are. And I'm thinking, my God, she's out of her mind. This thing is over right now. So I thought I would shift positions, and I said to her with a smile, you know, to buy time, what is your spirit animal? Oh, the biggest smile I've ever seen. Oh, I'm an Arctic fox. I'm white with little black eyes that I dart across the snow. And I'm thinking, I may not even finish the appetizer. What is this? So then she smiled and said, okay, think about it. What is your spirit animal? I said, I'm a dung beetle. She said, that's not even an animal. That's an insect. I said, I have low self-esteem. She didn't laugh. I tried a pun. I said, well, I guess we're dung with that. Nothing. No sense of humor. And you know, a sense of humor, if you have a sense of humor, male or female, you're halfway there. That's just a wonderful thing that a human can have, yes. You got a sense of humor, and if you don't, we're in big trouble. Arctic foxes were not known for their sense of humor. Or are known. So that was out. Now, I meet another lady. Beautiful redhead lady, you know. And I'm talking about ladies that are middle-aged ladies. I got buddies, they all want to go out with younger women, you know, and I want somebody around my age. I don't want to footnote every conversation. I want... Good-looking lady, bright, you know, and we were different in our politics, different in several areas of life, and that's okay. I'm live and let live. You know, as long as you're decent and you're not trying to kill me, okay, fine. And she told me I'm a vegetarian. And I told her, I don't care if you're a vegetarian or a vegan or a Vulcan. It doesn't matter to me. But I like meat, all right? I believe in nature. We are carnivores. Our teeth are designed for the ripping and tearing of flesh. I didn't say it to her like that. It's very LA, these people. You know, you go to their house for dinner and the hostess, we're going to have a wonderful health salad. Oh, great, I get to crap like a parrot all week. That particular lady didn't like what I said. She was, well, what do you want to eat? I told her to steak that dick. I want it so thick it's sauce my heart when I'm eating. Call the paramedics to bring me alive to finish that steak. Cut my heart open and shove a baked potato in there. Maybe a carrot, too. You need your vegetables, you know. I just told her, you eat what you eat, I'll eat what I want to eat. If you want to eat bark and berries, that's your business. So we go out a couple of times, no push, no shove, nothing. But the third time we went out, she started that subtle push, So I ordered lamb chops. She says, now, before you eat those, visualize them as a little baby lamb. And I gobbled them right up. She said, how could you do that? I said, I visualize myself as a hungry lion. And I realized that's my spirit animal! I'm a roaring lion! And I saw this glazed look on her face, as if we had detached somehow. And then I leaned over and said, what's your spirit animal? And she said, you're crazy. And that one was over.
And I'll tell you, some other people I'm not too crazy about. Vegetarians. Nobody likes them. You know why? Because they think they're so special. You've been around, when you first meet them, within the first 5 or 10 minutes, this is the first thing they want you to know about themselves. It's like, now here's something you need to know. I don't eat meat. And I'm like, well, bless your heart. I'll pray for you. But I don't have time to talk about it right now. I'm on my way to Burger King. And besides all that, I don't think there's any such thing as a true vegetarian. I think they kind of sneak around. That's my suspicion. Let me give you an example. The subdivision I live in is just 9 houses in my subdivision, okay? And we got a new neighbors. They moved in about 6 months ago across the street, okay? And they invited everybody over there. And supposedly, the husband and wife, they're both vegetarians. They seem to be like around 40 years of age, all right? They're vegetarians, supposedly. But I opened the refrigerator door just to get something to drink. And I saw that they had a bottle of mustard. There's a vegetarian meat. What do they need with mustard? And I was kind of sneaking around. And hidden behind the carton of almond milk was a pack of weenies. This is not necessarily funny. I just thought I'd share it with you.